Hey all, and this is the Stygian Skies event. This is a Light Slayer event and Noble Killer. So originally I was going to use my Light Commander team here, but since it's Noble Killer, I can't really create the optimal team. I have to use Twin Fangs instead, which doesn't do as much damage. I've made up a Light Slayer team here as well, but again, that doesn't really do too much damage. And another Water team at the end. So unfortunately, I'm probably going to have to use my Water Slayer team again for most of the event. You've all seen this team used before in previous videos if you've watched them. I will talk through the team again though. We start with Holiday Saints. Gives the next Water hero to activate their battle skill a 500% damage buff. Metaverse Masters. Next hero gets a 150% damage buff. Both used to boost up Sovereigns of the Dance. Increases self-damage by 300%. Phantoms Unseen. This is the Noble Killer Water Slayer card. It's pretty old, unfortunately, but it's the best I really have for this event. Because there's no damage boost on the card, it's going to make this team quite a bit weaker than it should be. Then finally, Area. That's to get the supercharged buff up. That increases Immortal Killer attack, then boosts up Sovereigns of the Dance. So it's not optimal because of Phantoms Unseen, but it is the best team I really have for this event. As such, I probably won't be playing it that much. I will likely drop down into Emperors, but it doesn't really matter too much. Anyway, onto the Relics. Relics don't matter too much. What I mean by that is they can be any colour with this team, since Metaverse Masters is usable on the very first turn. And this relic breaks 5+1 per Dark Commander Ultimate Hero, so that alone breaks 6 of the shields. Then just a couple of my best Water Slayer relics. There should be another one that breaks the shields here as well. Cater's Bow here. That has that nice percentage increase to attack. Then yeah, there's the final one for the Noble Shields at the end. So it's not a spectacular team, but it is the best I really have for this event. It's not going to be easy if I do play this event, but I think I'll just take the event off, to be honest. Focus on that Fire Commander event that's coming up. Alright, so moving across to the next team, the Light Commander team. Originally, I wanted to use Sunbest Siblings on the team. However, that doesn't work since there's not many good Light Commander Noble Killer cards. You can see here my other options are very limited. I kind of have to use Twin Fangs on the team to get any damage out of it. So yeah, not ideal at all, unfortunately, but it is what it is, and this is what the team looks like. So Creators of Legend, one of the best Light Commander cards in the game, increases Light Commander damage by 225%, also creates quite a few power gems, level IX as well. Divine Sovereigns gives the next Light Commander to activate their battle skill a 500% damage buff, used to boost up Twin Fangs. This increases self-damage by 200%. This also basically converts the grid, so you can use Metaverse Masters with Twin Fangs. Also, the damage on Twin Fangs is not as high as it actually is. What I mean by that is the number generally shows lower than the actual damage you are hitting for. A rather strange glitch, unfortunately, that's not been fixed yet. Then Caladria's Last Lineage. A decent increase to Light Commander damage, 140%. Creates quite a few power gems as well. Then finally, Nick, Master of Blades. That gets an increase to Light Commander damage, another 225%. Then for the relics, it's not quite enough for the Umbral bosses, so I will need to make a slight change to this. This is the only noble relic on the team. And then for the other relics, they're just my best relics. But yeah, this only breaks 6 shields rather than the 7, so I will need to make a slight adjustment to this team if I'm going to try and take down Umbrals with it. Unfortunately, it's not really strong enough for Umbrals, but it's not what I was wanting to use for this event. Noble Killer is always rather difficult. But anyway, that's my Light Commander team. So my Light Slayer team, this has a few decent cards in it, but it's not doing any real damage. I will talk through the cards that could be useful on this team. Trackmasters. This is a bit too old to really be of any use. Only increases Light Slayer attack by 80%. Drake Patriarchs. Again, it's only a small increase to Light Slayer attack, 115%. Not so useful. Bewitching Conjurers. This could be useful though. Increases Light Slayer attack by 20%, but more importantly, this card can be reset, so you can put the boost from Metaverse Masters on this card more than once to increase the damage significantly. So this might be worth trying. Supreme Elohim. This isn't too bad, but it is Noble Killer. Increases Light Slayer attack by 140% for 3 turns. So possibly worth trying. Then the final card here, Will of Calliope. This increases Light Slayer attack by 700%. So this is actually a really good card. Probably one of my best Light Slayer cards, and should be tried on the team to see what sort of damage you could do with it. And then for the relics, I believe there's just the one relic to break the shields with this team, but it's not really doing any damage, so you want to try and use the useful cards from this team with your own cards to try and do as much damage as possible, basically. There should be a shield breaker relic in here. Yeah, there we go. There's the one that breaks the shields. And then finally, just a variant of the Water Slayer team to finish off. Doesn't do as much damage as Iria is not on the team, but it does reasonable damage, I guess. I don't need to talk too much about this team. So something else that might be worth trying is something like this. You'll need to replace the Wisps with Light Slayer cards, but I think this has potential to do reasonable damage. You may also need another Dragoon as well, but the first and last cards, combined with a couple of Light Slayer cards and a Dragoon, could potentially do decent damage. It's an idea to try anyway if you're struggling. Anyway, let's get on with the actual event. Here we go. Alright, so here's the actual event. I have an Umbral boss locked and ready to try out my teams on. There's also this special bosses feature. I will talk more about that a bit later on, after I've done a bit of team testing. So I think I'll try my Water Slayer team here first, then afterwards give my Light Commander team a go, see if I can do any damage to the boss. Right, here we go. So pretty easy team to use, just get Iria going, then go 1, 2, 3, 4, but use Metaverse Masters first, just because it spawns a few extra water gems like so. Use Iria, then go left to right. Phantom's Unseen does have this Bloody Mary skill that fills the whole board with water power gems. See if I can get that going. But yeah, this team works okay with Metaverse Masters since the gems are converted. Just match the highest 2 power gems. Try and keep a few loose ones going. Then 22.8 Q isn't too bad. I'll see what sort of damage I can do when Bloody Mary is active. Oh, it activated early, I think. Okay, that wasn't the smartest move. I'll be a bit more careful, I think. But you can see this isn't really denting the bosses, so it's hardly worth me playing this event, if I'm being honest. Unless I could somehow make up some sort of Light Slayer team out of the Drill Fist offer. Plus, auto heal isn't really helping. Let's try this anyway. You can see it's increasing Bloody Mary by 2 rather than the 1. I don't think this will do too much more damage as there wasn't anything loose. There was less damage done. I can't believe 15.4 Q, I think that was. Yeah, that was a bit disappointing. I was expecting it to do more with the Bloody Mary skill, but it doesn't, as the whole board crushes together. Let's just try one more attack, then move on to my Light Commander team, I think. This time there won't be a Bloody Mary. It's kind of weird how this game works, though. A full crush doesn't do as much damage as having a few power gems that are loose from the main match. It's rather weird. It's always been like that, though, since they added Gem Crush. Anyway, this should do decent damage. There was 3 loose power gems, and you can see here 34.8 Q. Right, so finally, let's try out the Light Commander team. I have sorted the relics out, so this may do reasonable damage. So bear in mind the damage on Twin Fangs will be higher than what it's claiming, but I still don't think this will be exactly spectacular. Let's see though. 226 Q left on the boss. How much is left after we do a hit? Let's see. 203 Q. So yeah, you can see the damage. It's not too bad actually. I may go with this. It's a lot easier to use than the Water Slayer team. That's the big advantage here. Let's do a couple more attacks to see if I can get anything higher. It all depends on the board though, how many power gems are loose from the main match. But yeah, this is looking hopeful, I guess. It's not optimal, but it's not too bad. I'm still going to be attacking Umbrals for ages though, in order to take them down, so it's not really worth it. 11.9 Q that time, and that would be around 30 Q, so yeah, it's comparable to my Water Slayer team. I probably can defeat the Umbral with the Light Commander team. It's going to take a bit of time, but it's possible. But it is going to be pretty slow, unfortunately. With some of their siblings, this would have been a lot better. I may have hit 50 to 60 Q, but it doesn't really work having 2 hitting cards, unfortunately. Anyway, let's make this my final attack on the boss. There we go, and now I can quit out with 135 Q left on the boss. So I think the Light Commander team might actually be better. It's difficult as Twin Fangs doesn't accurately represent its damage. But yeah, these are 2 reasonable choices. Nothing spectacular, but they're not too bad. Anyway, that's the team testing done from this part of the video. Alright, and that's the team testing done. I'm hoping it might just about be enough to stay in Legends. You can see here we have that large Legends League again, 320 players. Anyway, let's start collecting the collection rewards. Nothing much to talk about here, it's just those Legends souls. Virtually useless nowadays, not really sure why this is still a collection. Oh well, let's claim it anyway. Yeah, just the gems and orb of EXP and those season choice coins. The rest of that's a bit junky. Oh well, that's that claimed anyway. Now to claim my random 6-star hero. Alright, here we go. Let's go ahead and claim this random hero. What am I going to get? Well, we're about to find out. Oh, I think that's just some sort of either support or main hero. That's nothing too exciting to talk about, unfortunately. But let's have a look at the ultimate form. So this is a hitting card, Divine Sun Guard. Increases self-damage by 400% for 2 turns. Has a dispel on it, plus it heals. Plus creates the power gems as well. Plus a bonus attack as well on top of all of that. So this seems like the sort of card that could potentially do huge damage. You just need the right cards to go with that, any that increase damage or attack. And for the individual cards, there's not really much point in just getting one card. You can see here, Solar Templar. This increases self-damage, but since it's not an ultimate form, it's not really going to be that useful on its own. Then the first card, Custer de Rora. This has the Dispel, bonus attack, but no self-damage increase. Again, it's not going to be useful. This is the sort of deck where you need to get both of the cards or get neither of the cards, unless you get lucky and get one of the cards. But yeah, one card on its own is not going to help you much, unfortunately. Now let's have a quick look at this bosses feature. You can see here, these bosses spawn. They give those, what are they, coin crates. And then you can exchange the coins for rewards. I'll just go and tag the level 60 boss. I'm not going to kill it. It's nice to get quite a few guild members into these bosses. Right, well, someone else killed it just as I tagged it. I will go ahead and claim this one as well. Get a few more coins. Right, so the Cudgel shop. This is where you exchange the coins. I highly recommend getting the Ascended ingot. You can see here. That's probably one of the best rewards in my opinion. There's not much else that's really useful for someone who already has a pretty decent GBG defense. Some of these hammer rewards may be useful for new players, but yeah, definitely try and get the Ascended ingots if you can. So finally, there are a few buffs you can see here. Thought I'd have a quick look at these. The 10-minute Guild Frenzy, 1000 gems, 2 times coins, 300 gems. These are hardly really worth using, since there's only the Ascended ingot. That's a really good reward in the Cudgel shop, unless you are relatively new to the game. Yeah, I can't see any of these buffs being worth getting, unfortunately, but there we go. I will very quickly have a look at what it is this time around. So either a Warden, Vanguard or Dragoon here. Let's have a look. Oh, it's a Dark Warden. Stygian Calamity. Auto Heal and Dispel Slumber. Dispel Slumber could be quite useful. Dark has suddenly become rather weak though due to that overpowered Light Commander combination. So probably not a Warden you're going to want to use, unfortunately. Not unless you're planning a mixed defense. Auto Heal is okay-ish, I guess. Best used near the end of a defense. But anyway, that's what the Warden looks like. And to finish, let's have a quick look at the newsfeed. Right, so there was quite a bit in the newsfeed when I had a look earlier. The new Cudgel has been unlocked. These don't sound as bad as those horrible putrid Cudgels. You can see here, 2 times the number of gems in order to be fully charged on the battle skills. And then 3 times, that might be quite difficult, but still, it's not as bad as losing a bunch of power gems from the board each time. Those putrid hammers really were nasty. Would not mind trying out a defense that has one of these new hammers in though, so we'll see if anyone manages to get one. Then there's a couple of other offers here you can see as well. Then it just talks about the event. So let's get out of here. I think we're about covered with this event. Hope that was interesting and enjoyable. As always, if you do have any questions or suggestions regarding this video, please let me know in the comments and I'll do my best to help. If you did enjoy this video, please do give it a like and subscribe to the channel. Subscribing is always appreciated. We have a previous event video on the screen, plus a playlist, plus you can also subscribe from here if you want to do so. And thanks for watching.